Hey, what's up? It is DJ. Today we've got a new blog on NPCs, Farming Simulator 25, Your Neighbors. These non-player characters will offer some small talk, contract missions, and tutorial help. Today we've got 5 NPCs to look at. We have a new one from Helper Ben, Animal Farmer Katie, and Lumberjack Noah, and a closer look at Grandpa Walter and Neighbor David that we met last week. If you haven't pre-ordered FS25 yet, you can check the link in the description for the base game as well as the year 1 bundle. We're only 3 weeks away now. FS25 is not going to have a story mode. We've mentioned that a few times. However, these NPCs are there to add a little bit of liveliness to the town and make things feel a bit more realistic and, well, less empty. If you've been waiting for some actual information on how the NPC interaction system works, this is that video. These NPCs were voiced by real people, real actors, and not AI. Each character has their own personality and area of specialty. Let's start with someone new that we haven't met yet, Helper Ben. He can tell beginners more about the basics of farming, like how to sow and harvest crops, how to operate the machinery for various fieldwork setups. We've also got specific things like what's the difference between plows and cultivators, and you can find them near the starting farm. Each NPC has also what looks to be a greeting, as well as Giants have listed something special for each character. Here's Ben's. Well, since your grandfather slowed down, he didn't really bother with the latest machines and did a lot of stuff, well, in an old school kind of way. That's probably why he sent you to me. I'm an avid reader of all those agricultural machines, you know, old but still learning. If you come to me, I can help you make sure everything grows well in the fields. Next up, let's talk about our neighbor David. We met him before in a recent blog, but I'm happy to say it doesn't seem like he's an idiot after all. He's just a beginner farmer. He's made some mistakes along the way, as we all have, and will warn players not to repeat his own mistakes. In return, you can give him some of your advice. David can also offer a different perspective, and he's moved here from the city, and he's learned how to appreciate farming and doing the hard work for himself. He's got his own text saying, sure, there are reasons for that. Growing practices so we can feed the population with huge amounts of food, for example. I then learned that produce for mass markets is often harvested before it's fully ripe to withstand transportation and storage, for example. Refrigeration, humidity control, long periods of storage, and so on. That all of these can affect the flavor and what you can taste and smell. Never thought about that when I was still your common city boy, but I know now. And I appreciate what I harvest with my own hands and even more. More new faces as we get to meet Animal Farmer Katie. After traveling around the world, she came home and took over the animal farm from her family. She's hands-on and can explain the basics of livestock farming and animal husbandry. And you can learn more about her by chatting. She's also got all kinds of stories and little anecdotes from her travels. Most of her anecdotes include animals in some way, as you would expect, and some of her stories are just myths that she's collected along the way. Her greeting reads as, "Aren't you a curious one? When I was reading about medieval farming, I was reminded that I really loved our farm and the country life surrounded by nature, animals, and livestock. So I changed my major to agricultural sciences and only minored in history. Can't escape your family's legacy sometimes, huh? When I finished college, I traveled the world and worked on farms to see how they were doing things in other countries and cultures." Next up, we have a familiar face, Grandpa Walter. As is tradition in farming, the farm is passed down from generation to generation. In this case, though, Grandpa Walter isn't passing the farm to his own son, as they have left the countryside to pursue a life in the big city. Walter can share some of his experiences and tell us more about the history of his family farm and offer other information and guidance, including sending us over to Helper Ben for more assistance. Grandpa Walter's greeting reads as, "I'm doing this for a while now. Despite all the modernization, there are still farmers sitting on tractors, right? My own grandfather, yes, I had one too. He was old school, and I mean it in the actual definition. He did everything on horseback, plowing, sowing, getting to tow and delivering his produce to the market. As did most others. Horses were the backbone of it all. Back then, a significant portion of his farm was about horse breeding and selling strong, healthy mares and stallions to other farmers. Then tractors became a thing. Slowly at first, then more and more horses were retired from plowing duty. Lastly is another new name, Lumberjack Noah. He's a local forester and lumberjack, and his main profession is taking care of the forest. He's here to explain the basics of forestry and to explain wood carving. One of the more interesting parts that was written in the blog today is actually that his well-crafted objects are not practical, and we as the players are free to point out his flaws in the design. That's awesome, I guess. He also enjoys detective stories and is prepared to give a presentative lesson on how to behave in the woods. This is what some people think of me and my profession, and it fills me with emotions on the negative side. It is important to handle any forest with care and respect to leave its overall structure intact. I just wanted to make sure that you know that my job is not to eliminate all the trees around here. We take care of what we need, we replace it, and we are respectful of the forest and its inhabitants. Also helps David so he can meditate in one of its clearings. He already got a lesson on littering in the woods. I'm a bit skeptical, but I believe him when he says that it fell out of his pocket. He stays under surveillance nonetheless. As it stands right now, we're about 3 weeks away from the game's release, and a lot of information has been revealed, but giants say that there's still a lot more that hasn't even been touched on yet. So make sure to check out the Farming Simulator 25 playlist for all the information that we have so far, and stay tuned because there's a lot more coming. And that's it. NPCs are invading Farming Simulator 25 in one way or another. We've got 5 so far, but hey, maybe we have more to come. I have no idea. Is there anything you think I missed today, though, or was there anything you wanted to see a little bit more of? Please let me know. Don't forget, FS25 is going to be available on Tuesday, November the 12th, 2024. If you still haven't pre-ordered yet, now's a really good time to do that. You can check out the link in the description, which takes you to both pre-orders for the base game as well as the Year 1 bundle, so you can get the one that you want. And console players can also pre-order still via their respective game stores. If you got any questions, please let me know, and you can check out the other videos on the screen right now for more Farm Sim 25 coverage. Thank you for watching. Hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you in the next one.